Hello, everyone. It is Wednesday, it is midday, it is midweek. So I hope that you have your coffee in hand, that this is your lunch break or whatever that is. Thank you for joining us today for another Cafecito Wednesday. And I'm here with the incredible and my dear friend AnaCristina Blandon. And we're gonna have kind of a different conversation today. We're gonna talk about leadership, movement, and sports, and how they all interconnect. So it's going to be kind of different. It's going to be fun. It's going to be super real. So thank you for being with us today, and welcome, Anna. How are you? How's your Wednesday so far?
So far, so good, Lizette. Thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure joining you in your adventures, discussing this topic that we've had plenty of conversations around it. So it's always a pleasure.
I know, and that's why I wanted you to sit down, at this table today, because we've had a lot of conversations regarding, this topic, even though we don't share, we haven't shared the court yet, but we've had many conversations that we're gonna deep dive into today. So before we begin, I'm pretty sure all of you in the audience, most of you know who AnaCristina is, but if you don't, in case you don't know her, I'm going to give her some space to introduce herself and tell us all the wonderful things she's doing around. So the
Thank you,
mic is yours.
Lizette. Thank you, Lizette. Well, for everybody, my name is AnaCristina Blandón, originally from Colombia. And Lizette and I met a few years ago through my Alpha involvement. I am currently the president for the Miami chapter for Alpha, and I also sit at the National Strategic Development Committee for Women of Alpha. For anybody who doesn't know what Alpha is the largest Latino organization, the Association of Latino Professionals for America, within the United States and Canada. And we have over 130,000 members total, with over 40 chapters, professional chapters nationwide and in Canada. And I want to say over 100 student chapters. So our main goal is the support and the empowerment from the students to the C-suite. We're Latino focused, not exclusive, and we're here to empower and help each other out in all aspects that we can.
And thank you so much, Anna, for all the work that you do for our Latino community, also through Alpha. It is amazing. She is unstoppable, and she's a great leader of the Miami chapter where we sit. So I'm very grateful to have you here today. So if you're ready, let's jump right into the conversation. First, I want to bring the reflection. Why did we choose this topic today? And one reflection about sports. Probably if you saw the topic, leadership, sports, I think many times when we talk about sports, Anna, people think, oh, we're talking about professional athletes, especially when I talk about sports within the leadership landscape. And it is not, it doesn't have to be that way. When we think about sports, especially I like to think about sports that way, it is about movement, it is about balance, it is about finding this sense space that brings you back to the core amongst all the things that we have to do as women, as as Latinas. So that's the way I like to reframe the sports. And also there's this statistic about women in leadership by EY. This study is back from 2015, and it was shocking to me. It was a collaboration between EY and ESPN Women, and it stated that 92% of the women in corporate boards had some sort of background in sports, or they grew up playing sports. So it is shocking, 92%. But again, it doesn't have to be that way. A lot of us didn't grow up, playing sports or being kind of professional athletes when we were young, but it's never too late. And that's what the conversation is going to be about today. So, AnaCristina, back to you. So let's talk about sports beyond the professional arena. But sports for regular women like you, like me, why do they matter to you?
I think one of the key strengths and skills that is 100% transferable from sports to the professional career is discipline. Is one of those things that we all hear it. Like whether you go to the gym, you run, you do weights, tennis, swimming, whatever your sport may be. The times that when you don't want to do it, that's when you need it the most. And it happens also at work. Like sometimes there is, a big project and you just, I don't want to do it. I don't want to tackle it. But that's when you have to pour from whatever you don't have the energy to do it and then just get it done. And there's been tons of studies about the importance and the transferable skills. And it comes from being a team player, from everything that you can think about, or whatever your sport or your area of movement it may be. It may be a gym, maybe be a Zumba class, whatever it may be. There's always going to be skills that you can transfer from that core, from that space of your exercise, of your movement, of your passion, whatever it may be. You will be able to transfer skills that you have gained. And I have heard from leadership at different organizations, and I'm talking professional, like work related, not my non-for-profit alpha volunteer, but organizations at work. I've known somebody that told me, like, if I look at the resume and I look at the LinkedIn and I don't see any extracurricular activities, I'm not sure if that's a candidate that I want, because I don't see how that's being balanced in their life, and how they bring more to the table than just the qualifications or the acumen that the universities provide.
Right. And I think that's very interesting, because let me tell you a quick story. I'm in executive search, so I have been interviewing leaders for a long, long time. And very early when I started doing this, there's this question that I'd like to ask, and it's I ask people in my interviews, like, who are you outside of work? What motivates you? Who are you outside of work? And I started to find this common thread, amongst these leaders. Many of them, they had some sort of sports or activity that made them come back to their same place. So I love that you bring that to the table, because it is, again, very, very important that we all have this space of movement outside of work, not only because all the things that you learn and you can transfer to your leadership position, or to your role, whatever you do in life, professionally speaking, but also the stamina that brings to the table, right? And you and I have talked so many times about this. And for those of you who know me, you know that I'm a huge tennis fan. Anything tennis, talk to me. I play tennis, I follow tennis, everything. But let me tell you this, and I don't know if I told you this before, Anna. A lot of times when I play tennis at the end of the day, most of the times, and I could tell you that half of the times it's like, oh my God, I'm exhausted. Like, on top of everything, I have to change. I have to drive, 30 minutes to the courts to play. I'm gonna come back home, and it's gonna be 10 o'clock already, and I have to clean up the kitchen and all of these things. So at least half of the time, I don't want to go. It's like, oh my God, why did I sign up for this? But there has never been one single time that I come back that I regretted
Okay.
to go outside and to play, because again, this movement, this way to bring back stamina, to me is the only place where I can quiet my mind, and I think it's so important to have those spaces. And I know you have a beautiful story also around tennis when you were younger. You want to share that with the audience? You grew up playing tennis, right?
I grew up playing tennis. I think I started playing tennis when I was probably 5 or 6, back in Colombia. And I think I stopped for a couple years and then took it back, I want to say maybe at age 11 or 12, and play all the way until 15. And it was funny because I used to play Tuesdays through pretty much Sundays, and had a group of friends that that was it. That was your weekend, was to just go to the club and play, and then go to the pool or do whatever else. So after being in the sun all the time, and playing and running and doing this and that, by the time that the night came in, it was time to come home, shower, have something to eat, maybe watch a movie, go to sleep. And as time went by, I had other group of friends, that people that we used to call it in la cuadra, and we would just sit there and talk and whatever. And of course, I was so tired that I stopped making it to la cuadra for a long time. And then one day when I came back, I started realizing that a lot of these people were not in the best ways or roads per se. And at that point, I was like, wow, tennis saved my life, because I could have gone in some, other route per se, and I didn't. And now, as an adult and having children, I have the conversation with my parents when I said, now I understand why, when I wanted to go to this tournament, it was never an issue. Why, I wanted a new skirt to play, it was never an issue. They laughed and said, of course, that we would rather invest in you and your sport than keeping you safe from the streets and the dangers that could have been happening around the time when I would have been out on the street playing and partying and whatever else was going on. So
That I think that's incredible, because that is, one of the silver linings also of finding your movement, finding your
yeah,
sport, find your activity. And I also think that, the kind of activity that you choose throughout your life, it can be different things, right? When you were younger, it was tennis. Probably you do something else right now, but I remember when I had my kids, and they were young, and I used to travel a lot. I didn't play tennis. What I did is I used to do running, because running was very easy for me. I had my tennis with me, and if I was traveling, I could jog a little bit. And that's another way we can see sports and movement. It teaches about adaptability, and that not everything, if you like to play golf or tennis or whatever, or yoga, and you don't always have that space, find another space, to move and reconnect and find that source of stamina, and to de-stress yourself. And I also like to think about sports and leadership, and sports and activity, as a way to do micro adjustments in our life, right? Sometimes in our career, not only in sports, we need to make adjustments. We take 2 steps forward, 2 steps back. How have you managed to adjust in moments of imbalance in your professional career, in your life? That probably you have learned through movement and sports.
to me, it goes back to the very basic thing that I learned in my first time in PE class in as a child, and it's the same thing that I learned with a psychologist as an adult. It goes back to your breathing. It goes back to make sure that you're breathing correctly. It's something that we all clearly do at all times, and you can't live without it. But a lot of us are not mindful of how we're doing it or when we need it. So in those moments where we're stressed, when even if you're gonna go and give a presentation or whatever, everybody, stop, take a deep breath, and regulate yourself. And it also applies in everyday situations. You may be in an argument with your significant other, your child, your boss, your coworker. Stop, pause, breathe, move on. And it's one of those things that if you're playing and you're running and you're out of breath, and then the first thing that you have to do is stop, breathe, regain your composure, your balance, and keep going.
Yeah, yeah, that's so important, because I also think that many times in our career, in our professional career, we stop doing sports or the activities that we like, because we're moving all the time in our job related activities, and we don't stop to pause, to breathe once we have a setback, to really stop, breathe, recalibrate, and think where you're going next, right? So this is also kind of what sport teaches us. We have to stop and breathe and think with whatever you're doing, right? Whether it's sports, your career, whatever. And there's also the skills of resilience and recovery that we learn through sports and activity, right? And what can you share about that to the audience, AnaCristina, about resilience and recovery, and how we can interconnect those two aspects?
Well, it's like if you play, like let's say you play in a match, you're not always going to win. Sometimes you're going to lose. And it's about, okay, well, what did I do? What can I improve? How can I do it better? Whether it's a different hit or a different strategy. And the same thing happens in your life. You're not always going to win it all. So it's important to take that stop and assess. And instead of seeing it as a failure, see it as an opportunity or what can go better. And if we're going to translate it to work, let's say that you're working on a project and you're pitching it and you're waiting for this committee to approve it and they don't, you can either take it as a loss and sit on the corner and cry and put it aside, or you can dig deeper and say, okay, what are the difficulties? What are the opportunities? What can I reframe and reshare in a different angle and a different perspective, and try again. It's always about get up again and keep going. And if you fall again, like riding a bicycle, when we all learned a bicycle, we would fall. Most important things is pick up, dust your knees, get on the bike, and go again. And it's the
Of
same
course.
thing. Like life will knock us down, and we're not always going to win. But it's about how we show up again. Okay, yeah, we
Yeah.
got knocked down. We didn't get the yes, And my grandmother, my dad always tell me that my grandmother says, the no, it's already there. You have that, the no. Now go find the yes. Go ask. Go risk it out there to see if you can get
Yeah.
the yes, because they know you already have it. If you don't do anything, the answer is no. But if you want a
Right.
yes, then go for it.
Right. But also, you know what? I like to think about recovery in terms of giving yourself grace and giving yourself time to pause, reflect, recover, and then go back, right? Again, with the analogy of playing sports, when, I've had some injuries, and it's so painful, not physically, but having to stay away from what you enjoy, knowing that you injured yourself because you didn't warm up properly, and that caused you to sprain your ankle, and you want to go back to the court or to the field right away. At least that is my case, but you can't.
Yep.
So you have, it's also part of the self discipline, and I think that applies to our career as well, right? When we have a setback, something that probably didn't work out, a project that didn't go the way we wanted it to go. And sometimes, like, yeah, okay, nothing happened, let's go on to the next one. But it's all right to take some time to pause, to recover, so that you can go back stronger, right? And I think that is one of the messages that we receive constantly. Okay, you made a mistake, go, 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 next, next. Yes, but also it is okay to take this time to heal, to recover, to reflect, and then go back stronger. So I love this analogy, between our recovery time, both in sports and leadership and the professional arena. We don't have to stay moving all of the time. We can take times to pause, and that's also completely all right.
But what we do need to do at all times is be kind to ourselves. Even during those recovery times, both at sports and at work, it's always be kind to ourselves, because I think there is no worse
Yes.
critic than ourselves for us.
Right. Yeah, to ourselves and to others as well.
Yes.
Right. Sometimes, let's think as a race. You're going in a race, you're working with your team, and you see someone that's not racing at your same pace. Sometimes that's frustrating. You want to pull that person. So why don't you stop? Why don't you reflect? Why don't you talk to that person and see what's going on, so you can probably both find
Yep.
a way, to walk at the same time. So it works in so many different ways. Giving ourselves grace, that space to reflect, to recover, and also to be mindful of who's around us, and what's going on with our lives as well, right?
100%.
And let's switch gears a little bit. I don't know who we have in the audience today, but I'm in my early 50s. Don't say that too much, but I talk to a lot of women around 40s, 50s. And what happens oftentimes for us women is that, again, we stop doing sports, whatever we like to do, because we have jobs, we have kids, we have families, we have a lot of things to take care of. And then we look back and we say, it's been 10 years, it's been 15 years, I haven't done anything physically speaking in so many years. And they don't know where to start. We don't know where to start. I've been in that situation as well. Even though I've liked sports all of my time, I've had these seasons of 2-3 years. How do I go back? Where do I begin? Is there something out there for me? What will you say to these women?
Carve the time. Carve the time to find what your it is, and there is no right or wrong answer. It might be dancing, it might be yoga, it might be tennis, golf, whatever your it is. And carve time, because we hear and we see it often. Self-care is self-love, and we all know we cannot give from an empty cup. We hear every time that you board a plane, then you have the flight attendant saying, the mask comes down, put the mask on yourself before you help somebody else. So you need to find what the it is for you and carve the time. And let's face it, sometimes we're guilty. We're guilty because in order for us to do that we're taking away time from our job, our kids, our spouses, whatever it may be. And then realize that, like you said, Lizette, you may be dreading going, but you don't regret once you come back. And when you come back, I'm sure you're a better person. You're a better wife. You're a better mom. You're in a better mood. So do it because of it. Do it despite the fact that you're taking away time from X, Y, and Z. Don't see it as, oh, I'm taking away and I'm stealing it from X, Y, and Z. No. Do it because of that. So you can be a better person for them, for whatever that it is. But find your it. Find your it, treasure it, and take care of it and put it as a priority.
I love that, and you touched on a subject that we are related to, which is the guilt. And I didn't mention that, but you're completely right. Sometimes before we put time into these activities that seem to be, non-productive, we feel a lot of guilt because I could be working on this project, or I could be cooking dinner for my family, or we can find a million excuses not to do it and to feel guilty on top of everything. So I love that, do it because of it, because every single time, I promise you, you're going to come back as a better person, as a better mom, as a better professional, as a better woman. You're going to be more fulfilled, and you have to fill your cup first, right? So, and the other reflection that comes from what you're saying, when you say find your it, whatever that is. If for some reason you cannot do physical activity, find another it. What is it that, moves you inside? Is it reading? Is it a book club? Is it, I don't know, painting?
A musical instrument.
Music, yeah, music. There's so many things that we can do to keep moving, in our personal development, whatever that is. I love that. Find your it. Go for it. Don't wait till tomorrow. Don't wait to find the perfect activity. Right? We've talked about that. Try different things. What have you tried, AnaCristina? Have you tried something crazy in your life that didn't work out?
Well, when I used to play tennis, I used to rollerblade as well, and and I trained for speed. And X amount of years later, maybe I don't know, 6-7 years ago, I actually went back home, and I bought a new pair of rollerblades of the ones that I used to do back when I was, I don't know, 10, 11. And I remember my dad was flying back, so he brought them back, and I got all my rollerblades, and my dad is like, "Where's the rest of the gear?" And I'm like, "What gear?" Well, knee pads, all of this. And I'm like, I've never used them. Why would I start now? He just looked at me, he laughed, and I put my rollerblades like nothing. And I went on. And of course, I fell really bad. And I busted my knee and my wrist and everything else. And he looked at me after he picks me up and was like, "Are we ready to go and buy the knee pads? Because you're no longer 10 or 11. So I still have my rollerblades. I really haven't tried much after that because they're professional speed rollerblades, and I realized that at 40 I'm not the same as I was at 11. But I promised myself. My daughter now is into rollerblading. She's like, "Can we go rollerblade together?" I'm like, "Dear Lord." So you will see me rollerblading again soon.
I love that. But
Again.
see,
But
you're
yeah.
trying, and I think that's wonderful. It's a lot of fun, and it
It is.
takes you out of your comfort zone as well. That's something that we can transfer to our professional lives as well. Sometimes we're afraid to try something new. Sometimes we have projects, or we are offered a promotion in a completely different arena, and we're afraid, and we decide to stay in our comfort zone in what we know. And also sports and activity teaches you this. While I was asking you this, it came to my mind. Honestly, I hadn't remembered this in such a long time. Do you know that at some point in my life I tried karate? I think I did karate for a couple of months. I think it was after my first child was born, but I wanted to do something. I had my karate suit and everything, but I think I went like 4 times and I hated it. I did kickboxing as well. I kind of liked kickboxing, but it didn't stick with me. And let's also talk about the things that we want to try because we want to be good at, but we're not really good at. And to me, that is yoga, for example. It's like I know yoga is good for me. It's good for my body. It's good for my stretching. But I suck at it. I'm really bad, and despite of that fact, sometimes I go back to the yoga. So I guess the message is, again, try different things. Get out of the comfort zone. You don't have to be, in the most beautiful gym in the area. Go outside, walk, find your it, and trust us, you're going to be better off afterwards. So Ana, before we go, it's almost time to go. We have a couple of minutes left. Let's close with a call to action. What will you say to all these beautiful Latinas that are listening to us today before we leave?
My call to action will be try as many things as you seem necessary until you find your it. And once you find it, protect it. Like put it on the calendar. And I learned this from a senior leader a long time ago, where he would put it on the calendar and everybody in his team knew that these 2 hours for him were sacred. And he will work with different schedules in different countries. So he will call, he may have calls with Asia like 10 o'clock at night, but everybody knew that from this time to this time, nobody could touch that because he will protect that with his life. And I asked him why. He said, because that is what is giving me life. That is my time, and it's 3 times a week, and nobody can mess with it. So for him, it was that you don't have to do it in secret. You can be open about it. It is your time. It is your space. So find it. Find whatever. My call to action is find your it, whatever it may be, and however many tries it may take, whether it's music, dancing, yoga, exercise, whatever it is. But find your it, whatever is going to make you feel better after you do it, even if you don't want to go to begin with. But like Lizette said, that you might be dreading it, but once you come back, you're never going to regret having done that. So find what that it is, schedule it, put it in your calendar, and protect it, because if it isn't in your calendar, it doesn't exist, and we all know that. So make sure that you find it and you're protective of it and you do it. Regardless of what it is, just do it.
And if you stop doing it, try again, and switch and go back. Don't just stay in this mindset that sports is not for me, movement is not for me. It is for everyone. Whatever kind of movement, physically, mentally, go for it. Go find it. And one final reflection that I'd like to leave on the table is that, to me, movement is life. When we stop moving mentally, physically, towards our goals, our careers, then we become staggered and we start to die a little bit every day. So movement is life. Get out there, find some friends, find some people to share what you like the most with, and move. Keep moving in life, in sports, in your career, because you're going to be much better off. So thank you so much, Ana, for being with us today. It was an amazing conversation. We have a match pending. Just so you know, it's so many times. We have to get out there and play some tennis. We're going to do it pretty soon. We're going
to make it happen. Yes.
We're going to make it happen, and there's going to be evidence all over the place. So thank you so much, my dear. Have a wonderful day. Thank you to everyone that was in this conversation today, and I hope to see you soon in another Cafecito Wednesday. Feliz semana. Thank you.
Ciao. Bye.
Ciao. Wait. Can I stop this? Okay.